The room was filled with powerful executives, million-dollar contracts, and polished smiles, yet the wealthiest woman in the building suddenly uttered a sentence that silenced everyone around her. Her hands trembled beneath the conference table as she looked at the quiet man standing near the exit. With tears threatening to escape, she whispered that she didn't need another business deal or another luxury home. She only needed a fake husband. No one knew that behind her perfect image was a lonely heart carrying years of invisible pain. Even fewer people expected the calm single father she was speaking to give an answer that would completely rewrite both of their lives. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, second chances, and genuine love can change even the most broken lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Corner so you never miss another heartwarming story. Sophia Bennett had everything that magazines called success. At just 36, she had built one of the country's fastest-growing technology companies from a tiny rented office into a global corporation. Newspapers praised her determination, investors admired her intelligence, and employees respected her leadership. Yet every evening she returned to a mansion that echoed with unbearable silence. Every achievement reminded her of someone who was no longer there to celebrate it. Her parents had passed away years earlier, and the man she had once planned to marry had abandoned her after deciding her ambition made her impossible to love. Since then, she buried herself in work, convincing everyone, including herself, that success was enough. As the years passed, the pressure surrounding her became heavier. The company's board believed investors trusted family-oriented leadership. Important international partners repeatedly asked personal questions during meetings. Rumors spread across social media that Sophia's lonely lifestyle reflected instability. It seemed unfair that the value of everything she had built could be questioned simply because she wasn't wearing a wedding ring. She laughed politely whenever someone suggested she should settle down, but every smile hid another crack in her heart. Across town lived Daniel Carter, a man whose life looked ordinary to everyone except those who truly knew him. He worked as a maintenance supervisor for one of Sophia's office buildings. Every morning before sunrise, he prepared breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter Lily, braided her hair with clumsy but loving hands, packed her lunch, and walked her to school before beginning his shift. His wife had died from cancer 4 years earlier, leaving him to become both father and mother overnight. Money was always tight, but kindness filled their tiny apartment more than luxury ever could. Daniel had learned that grief never completely disappeared. It simply became quieter. Every night after Lily fell asleep, he looked through old family photographs and silently promised his late wife that he would raise their daughter with compassion, honesty, and courage. He never imagined that his simple life would collide with the lonely CEO whose face appeared on magazine covers. One rainy afternoon, Sophia stayed late after another exhausting board meeting. The directors had once again pressured her to improve the company's public image before an important merger. Their subtle suggestions about marriage left her emotionally drained. As she walked through the nearly empty building, she noticed Daniel patiently helping an elderly cleaning employee lift heavy supplies. There were no cameras nearby, no supervisors watching, and no reward waiting for him. He simply smiled, carried the boxes himself, and thanked the woman for her years of hard work. Sophia stopped without realizing it. In a world where everyone wanted something from her, she had just witnessed someone expecting nothing in return. Over the following weeks, she found herself quietly observing Daniel whenever their paths crossed. He greeted everyone with equal respect, whether they were executives or janitors. He always spoke gently to nervous interns and never rushed past people who needed help. One afternoon, she saw Lily waiting in the lobby with a handmade birthday card because she wanted to surprise her father after work. Daniel knelt beside his daughter as though she were the most important person in the world. And for the first time in years, Sophia felt a painful longing for a family she had convinced herself she no longer wanted. When another major investor insisted on meeting Sophia and her spouse during an exclusive charity gala, desperation finally overcame pride. She asked Daniel to meet her privately. Her voice remained professional, but her eyes revealed exhaustion that money could never hide. She admitted she needed someone trustworthy to pretend to be her husband for several upcoming events. She promised generous compensation and complete honesty about the arrangement. It sounded like a business proposal, yet beneath every carefully chosen word was the desperate cry of a lonely woman terrified that everything she had built was slipping away because she had no one beside her. Daniel listened quietly, he could have accepted immediately for the money. Lily's education, overdue bills, and countless responsibilities made the offer incredibly tempting. Instead, he looked at Sophia with genuine compassion. He told her that pretending to have a family might protect her company for a little while, but pretending would never heal the loneliness she carried every day. He explained that people survive heartbreak not by hiding it behind appearances, but by allowing themselves to trust again. His words were simple, sincere, and completely unexpected. No one had spoken to Sophia that way in years. Although Daniel eventually agreed to help her for the upcoming events, everything changed because they established one condition before anything else. They would remain completely honest with each other. No lies beyond the public arrangement. No manipulation, no hidden expectations. What began as a practical agreement slowly transformed into something neither of them anticipated. Lily welcomed Sophia with innocent curiosity instead of judgment. She proudly showed her school drawings, invited Sophia to help bake uneven cookies, and laughed whenever the successful CEO struggled with ordinary kitchen tasks. Sophia gradually discovered that the happiest evenings of her life were no longer spent signing contracts but sitting on the apartment floor assembling puzzles while listening to Lily's endless stories. The expensive dresses and luxury cars that once defined her identity suddenly felt insignificant compared to hearing a child call her by name with complete trust. Daniel also began noticing changes within himself. The woman he had first seen as distant and intimidating revealed a deeply compassionate heart. She secretly paid medical expenses for struggling employees, funded scholarships without seeking recognition, and visited retired workers who felt forgotten. Her strength had never disappeared beneath her loneliness. It had simply been buried under years of emotional isolation. Months passed, and the line between pretending and reality became impossible to recognize. The board members admired Sophia's renewed confidence. Investors praised the positive atmosphere surrounding the company. Employees noticed their CEO smiling more often than ever before. Yet the greatest transformation happened far away from conference rooms. A house that once echoed with silence now carried laughter, homemade dinners, bedtime stories, and hope. Then tragedy nearly destroyed everything again. Lily was rushed to the hospital after a serious allergic reaction. Daniel blamed himself endlessly, believing he had failed as a father. Without hesitation, Sophia canceled an international business conference worth millions of dollars and remained beside them throughout the frightening night. She comforted Daniel when he could no longer stay strong and held Lily's hand until she safely opened her eyes the following morning. In that quiet hospital room, surrounded by fear and relief, both adults finally understood that what connected them could never have been created through any contract. After Lily recovered, Daniel thanked Sophia for choosing people over profit. Sophia admitted that meeting him and Lily had taught her something every business success had failed to teach. Love was never another achievement to earn. It was a gift built through daily acts of kindness, patience, sacrifice, and trust. The fake marriage quietly came to an end because it was no longer fake. Friends who had watched their journey from the beginning noticed that neither of them needed to pretend anymore. They had become exactly what each other needed. Not because life was perfect, but because they chose to carry life's burdens together. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner for more emotional stories that remind us kindness still exists in this world. Special request: before this story ends, please leave a comment with the words "Kindness changes lives" if you believe one act of compassion can completely change someone's future. Years later, visitors entering Sophia's company headquarters noticed something remarkable. The most valuable achievement displayed in her office was no longer an award or a business certificate. It was a simple family photograph showing Daniel, Lily, and Sophia smiling together during a picnic in the park. Employees often wondered why that picture occupied the place where trophies once stood. The answer was beautifully simple. Success had filled her bank account, but kindness had finally filled her heart. The lonely CEO who once begged for a fake husband discovered something infinitely more valuable than appearances. She found a family built not on wealth, status, or perfection, but on honesty, compassion, and unconditional love. And perhaps that is the greatest reminder of all, that sometimes the people who save our lives are not the ones with the most power, but the ones brave enough to answer loneliness with kindness, proving that the strongest foundations are built not by pretending to love but by choosing it every single day.